In the Bible, I once read, "The pain that you've been feeling can't compare to the joy that's coming." It's interesting. You hear the word joy, and you try to think of a definition. I'm not going to read you the definition today. Maybe together we can rewrite the definition of the word joy. What I am going to tell you is, this episode is all about finding your joy and sharing it with others.
Don't you see that your faith is coming alive? Don't you see that it's tested every time? He's the one that makes your life divine. He's the one that makes you feel fine. Your faith being tested.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. Well, I tell you, there's so much joy in my heart. There's so much joy in my mind right now. I'm filled with joy for many different reasons. I'm joyful and feeling that for what I have as far as family, and I'm blessed that GABBIE Santana wrote us the theme song to our show, Tested. We ask all of you to continue to watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel, GABBIE Santana. We thank you for your constant support and your talent that you continue to bless us with each and every day. Folks, you saw the title. You heard the introduction. When you think of the word joy, what is going through your mind right now? I mean, we're all driving to work, right? We're all either having a good morning, having a bad week, maybe a bad moment, and you flip on this show, and the first thing you hear is joy. You know, sometimes people are in a bad mood and they see an episode like this and they go, "Ugh, I just want somebody else to feel my pain." You know, and then there's others that say, "Oh, this is exactly what I needed. I need a little joy in my life. I need a little joy in my heart," right? You know, for years, I've always heard that word. And you associate joy with joyful, and they're all the same. But, being and having joy in your life comes with so much great feeling. Some of us, each and every day, will come to learn to what really identify how it feels to have joy in their heart. When I think of joy in my heart, I think about all the things and all the people that I've encountered throughout my entire life. I remember when I first met my wife. The very first day that I laid eyes on her, I would love to tell you that it was love at first sight. But it really wasn't. What it was a curiosity. There was a certain feeling, a certain joyful feeling of being in her presence. But I couldn't describe it. I knew it was different, but it was something that was staring me right in the face. I remember when I hear the word joy, other things come to my mind. I remember being given an opportunity to become a manager and to be given an opportunity to manage a facility. The amount of joy that was in my heart, the excitement. I remember celebrating all my birthdays and having the feeling of joy run through my heart and through my mind as I saw my family, my brothers and sisters, my grandmothers, may they rest in peace. There's so many different joyful occasions that we all will go through in life. And that's what I want to tap on today. Each and every day we go to work or we come home from work, and we will have those bad days. And when we have those bad days, we tend to focus on the negative and forget about the positive. We forget about the joy that is in our lives, because we all have it. We all are given the opportunity to feel what joy is all about. I once heard somebody say, find a place in your inside where there's joy, and the joy will burn out the pain. Joy can bring so much love into your heart. Joy attracts joy. Joy will allow you the opportunity to let others in when they need it. You know, for some of us, most of the things that we desire in life are expensive. But truth is that the things that really satisfies us are absolutely free love, joy, and laughter. Each day, we come in with a positive attitude and we try to do things right. We try to get better. But negativity will always present itself. People like to steal your joy. We've talked about that many times on this show. Stealing your joy is one of the biggest things you're going to go through in life. It always happens. It always seems like people are constantly trying to sneak up and steal that joy. And I've said it many times on this show. You don't have to let them do that. Don't let no one come in and steal that joy. Joy is given to you. You can embrace it. You can feel it. You can even touch it. So when you're going through your bad days, when you're going through the days where you feel like that joy is slipping out from underneath you, or it's just escaping your body, find something in your heart that you can remember, that you can relate to when you think of the word joy. So right now, we're driving, right? All of us are driving or listening to the show, and maybe they're doing dishes. Maybe you're, pondering some thoughts, and you decided to listen to this episode. You look at the title and you said, joy. What is he going to talk about today? Let's do it right now. Let's do it together. When I say the word joy, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Whatever that just came into your mind, grab onto it, hold on to it, and use that, filter it. So when someone tries to sneak up and steal your joy, you can remember that. No person can be a great leader unless he or she takes joy, genuine joy, in the success of those that are with them or under them. When I was managing multiple facilities back in the early 2000s, my greatest joy was my team. Knowing that they had my back and knowing that they knew I had their back filled me with joy. When I was battling depression and the church next door kept knocking on my door asking me if I needed anything, providing me with food and inviting me to Thanksgiving dinner when they knew that I wasn't able to go home for the holidays, it brought me joy. Walking, in Louisiana, recently, and seeing the homeless people, and none of them, to my recollection, was even begging for food or asking for anything. But knowing that I had that extra food after I left the restaurant, and I was able to provide that for someone, provided me joy when I saw them smile and say thank you. I once heard a story about a homeless man who was given food, and instead of him eating his food, he had a pet dog, and he gave his share to the dog. It's amazing what certain people will do, what joys they have, and how they practice and how they use that compassion to fulfill others so that they can be happy. Our minds are a very powerful thing. When you fill it with positive thoughts, you will have positive outcomes. Yes, in a perfect world, we're always living in a positive atmosphere and nothing bad can come about. But let's be real. Things happen. Expect that everything is and anything is possible. And not every day is a good day. But not every day is a bad one either. I've said this many times before, and this is a very hard pill to swallow. praise God on the bad days and praise Him on the good days. Be grateful. Even when you're having a bad day, even when that joy is just feels like it's just nothing left to embrace. Think about all the other people out there that may be struggling and dealing with things a lot harder than you are at that very moment, or at this very moment. Be grateful. Find the joy and the inspiration in your heart and share that joy with others. Sometimes it's the joy that you bring into other people's lives that keep them and attracts them. I said it earlier, joy attracts joy. You're free to think of thoughts of worry or joy, and whatever you choose will attract the same kind back to you. If you worry, that attracts worry. But if you joy attracts joy. Positivity will always come first. Life and the pursuit of happiness will allow you to move forward. I want to end on a story. It's been a while since I told a story. And, I try to, when things happen and when I'm ready to do an episode, I don't know what I'm going to say until I start recording. I really don't. I kind of have an idea where I'm going with it, and then all of a sudden I just start recording. And as you all know, we don't edit on this show. So if I tend to go on a different direction, it's because that's what I believe God is leading me to. So here's my story. I remember, during my struggles and during my hard times, I remember having to pick up a job as a janitor. And I remember I had gone through a really rough week, and I was battling the depression, and I didn't want to get up. It was at 2 o'clock in the morning. I had to get up to go and clean 62 cubicles at a Washington Mutual. And I didn't want to do it. When you're down, when you're out of it, you don't even care. And I didn't care. I lost my joy. I lost my happiness. I lost my faith was just on its way out. And I just started cleaning. And I put on my favorite song that I knew was going to get me excited. And, it was a mixed CD that my brother made. And there was a lot of, music on there that made me happy. And as I was cleaning the cubicles, and I was listening to my music, and I was getting halfway done, I started feeling this joy come over me. Like somebody was there and on my shoulder telling me it was going to be okay. It was almost as if I felt the hand of God touch my shoulders and say, I'm here with you. I won't let anything happen to you. Just let it go. Let go of that anger. And at that moment in time, I decided to try to let things go. And as I made my way to the last cubicle, I found myself getting ready to burst out in tears. And I knew that they had cameras, and I didn't want nobody to see me on camera cry. So I went into the bathroom, and I decided to mop the floors, which I had already done. But any way that I can keep myself busy so it didn't look like I was just standing in the bathroom. But even though there don't have cameras in there, but still, that's my mentality back then. I go into the bathroom and I just start crying. And I start crying and I start crying. And I start yelling and saying, God, why do I have to be sad all the time? Why do I have to not have this joy that I know deep down inside I want to let out? Why are you not allowing me to be happy? And I couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting a response. And rather than get angry at God, I just decided that I got all my frustrations out. And as I was trying to wipe down my eyes and my tears, I didn't know it, but the whole time I was in there yelling and screaming, my boss had stopped by to check on me. And he overheard me. And this man was not a person of faith. He was not a person that went to church. He was a good person, don't get me wrong, but he just didn't have that same faith as I was, starting to develop. But at that very moment, and I looked up and I saw him, he looked at me and he said, hey, whatever it is that you're going through, you've got a friend here. And I don't want you to think that I don't notice that you're not happy. I want you to know that you're one of the best workers I ever had. And every time I'm in your presence, you always make me feel good about what I do for a living. Even though this is a part-time job for you and this is a lifestyle for me, you always seem to find the good in everything. And for that, I thank you. But for once, let me help you. And he gave me a hug. And at that moment, it just took all that burden off my chest, off my shoulders. And as I was hugging the gentleman for, I would say, about a minute and a half, I felt this joy come over me. I felt this warmth of love. And I knew that was God saying, I can't physically hug you, but I will have someone do it for me. Find the joy in your heart. Find the joy that will come over you each and every day. Don't let anyone steal it. Don't anyone ever define you and make you do something or think something that you shouldn't. Utilize all your gifts, all your talents, all your treasures. Believe in God and keep your faith strong so that your joy cannot be taken from you. Remember that each and every day. For Have Faith, Let It Begin. My name is Angel.